Greetings, dear friends. Happy Monday to you, and happy month of September. We're welcoming in the month of September, and to all of my North American friends and family, happy Labor Day. Here we are with our usual Monday check-in and our inner compass forecast. You know, when I talk about the inner compass, I'm talking about your intuition, your intuitive nature. And so that's what these conversations are all about, is to just feel into the energies of the moon. And my intention, my mission with these is to really help you deeply get in touch with the wisdom that you have. We all have access to this wisdom, and so that's kind of my intention with this. So the lunar influence that we have this week is from the first quarter phase of the moon in the sign of Sagittarius, which arrived yesterday. I love it when Sagittarius energy is around, because it's all about liberation. Sagittarius energy is about freedom and big picture and expansion and big picture vision. Is that I think of the archer pointing the arrow towards that which is the most auspicious and up-leveled and big truth. Where are you headed? And is it in alignment? So there's going to be a bit of that energy for you this week. However, the sun is in the sign of Virgo, so there may be a wee bit of a dance for you, because Virgo wants precision and action and planning and orderliness, whereas Sagittarius wants freedom and expansion and big picture and all of that. So just follow that, track that for yourself, and really come into listening, like deeply listening to watching the synchronicities, watching the invitations, watching the suggestions. Because sometimes when we kind of just take a wee bit of a step back for a moment and allow ourselves to say, what feels the best and in alignment with my soul's calling, with my soul's mission, with the right and best direction, there's a very strong influence in these energies that we're in. And of course, next week is going to intensify. We've got an amazing event coming into an eclipse window. I'll talk to you about that one next week. But this is almost like the preparation for it. So it's really important to allow yourself, in whatever way that means for you, to get in touch with your truth. What lights you up? What beliefs and intentions and wishes and desires? Because why I'm saying that in such an important piece is sometimes, and this can be sneaky, sometimes we can be going along, doing things in a certain way, speaking in certain ways, believing in certain things because we've inherited it. Because somewhere along our trajectory, we've allowed seeds to be planted that aren't really ours. Agendas, ideas, they're not what's the word? They're not devious or trying to take you out. Oftentimes they're coming from kindness, but they're not yours. So this is such an important time to say, how do I feel? How do I feel about myself? How do I feel when I'm saying yes to that direction and that opportunity, or I'm saying no, or I want to just sit, or I want to get into flow with my own being and doing, masculine and feminine. So just feel into that. As always, and I've said this before to you, if anything that I say confuses you or triggers you, or you need a wee bit more guidance or support, just put it in the comments below or message me directly. Because like I said, when I'm really encouraging you to get in touch with your inner compass, these ideas are intended to facilitate that in your best and right way. And so if anything that I say here doesn't resonate, isn't vibe for you, it's not for you. This is not a follow my words and follow the agenda here. It's about relax, feel into it, make notes on the things that you go, oh, I need to follow that, or I want to read a book on that, or I want to take a course on that, or I want to learn more. So just allow these ideas to kind of percolate for you in that fashion. Okay, so now I'm going to start pulling cards. Take a nice deep breath. as we go through the different nuances and the different effects from the moon and the sun we're planetary beings, so that's why we get affected by these. But as we do this, I always think of this as an upward spiral. We may end up having to have similar conversations or have similar triggers come up, but if they come up again, it's because there's something, there's a piece of gold in there, there's a learning, there's a lesson, there's a gift. And so as we do that, right, continuing to up level and become more and more aligned with your divinity, there's always going to be things that we need to let go of. In order to become more of something, we need to let go of that which doesn't serve anymore. So that's why we start with my letting go guidance system. So like I said, take a nice deep breath. And under this moon phase, this first quarter phase of the moon in the sign of Sagittarius, what can we just check in and let go of? Where have I become a little bit stagnant or stale, or what serves me to let go of? This is funny. It's not funny, not funny. It's the past. I like that a lot, actually. So when I say let go of the past, what comes up for you? What presents itself for you? Is it a relationship, a connection, a belief, a mindset, a way of doing something, a way of speaking to yourself about yourself? The thing is the past is a beautiful gift, but it is the past. And so, are you doing things in a certain way, or speaking in a certain way, or setting your intentions in a certain way, because it's always been that way, because you've always done it that way? And so that's why I'm saying I really encourage you over this week, over these, as we're getting into the September energy. September energy really feels like it's a change in pace, because we're changing seasons. We're stepping into autumn and finding, for really bringing our attention inward after the fun and the exuberance and the play. Of course, there's always play, but it's just in a different way. So as we step further into this new season, what are you taking with you? What are you saying, that's over? I release that with gratitude. Sometimes we hold on to things because we haven't really given ourselves permission to say, I really loved that, I honor it, it served its purpose, and I don't have to do it that way anymore. So just see what comes up. See what comes up for you. So moving on, we pull one of the tarot cards. Let's see what tarot wisdom comes up. And this is an interesting one to come up with, the letting go of the past, because it's the Ten of Swords. Where does that come up for you? The Ten of Swords is the sort of propensity to be too caught up in thinking like the sky's falling, this is chaos, this is terrible, this is awful. Take a deep breath. If there is ruminations going on that feels too overwhelming, that favorite question that I have is, put your hand on your heart, take a nice deep breath and ask, how do I feel about myself here? And so what I'm saying is, how do I feel about myself when I think these thoughts, when I believe these things, when I say I have to do those things, when I hear these types of conversations or dialogue? How do I feel about myself? So if I feel under attack or overloaded or like it's too much, that's the time to pause, to say thank you. This paradigm is over. I'm not going to continue animating those limiting thoughts or beliefs or components. I trust that makes sense. Let me know if you need some more support on that one. But that actually just feels like a really strong underlining of letting go of the past. You're here. What do you need to do to embrace, to feel grounded, to be really in the now moment? And that's actually part of all of our soul's purpose, our soul's mission, is to keep coming into the now moment. This is all you have. It's the now moment. Take a nice deep breath. Now we're going to tap into the wisdom of the Intuitive Whispers Oracle. Let's see what wisdom supports us this week as we immerse ourselves into this new season, into this new month, into these new ideas. So beautiful. The first one, and this one's we only have one that's come up. Oh no, two. We keep getting repeating cards with this deck. The first one is to move your body, move your emotions. So that's actually a really nice accompaniment to what I'm saying about the Virgo and Sagittarian energies that we're in this week. Is that part of us, and we are all wired this way, that we can get the precision and the doing, but then we want to have the truth and the freedom and the big picture expansiveness. So sometimes we can get emotions stuck. So moving our body, that question, how do I feel about myself? Well, if I feel heavy, or I feel congested, or I feel like I need to shift through something, and move your body, dance, go for a walk, do something physical, stretch, maybe just do something different. The next one, I like this one too, is intuitive journaling. This stepping into this new month, into this new season, is a beautiful way to really tap into, always the answers that we're looking for are looking for us. And one of the best ways to get in touch with that wisdom is through intuitive journaling, like really tapping into, I don't know about you, but I've done that before. If I'm doing a journaling on something specific, like I'm trying to work something out, all of a sudden I start to realize the answer is there. I just needed to get out of the overthinking, over analyzing, and just let something flow through. I trust that makes sense. Let me know if you need some support or ideas on journaling. I actually just recently put together a handout on that. So you put that in the comments if you want to have access to that handout. And then the last one is your body is like a book. Listen to, read your body. Because sometimes we can get our intuitive hits come to us through pings and pangs and little nudges or little taps on your shoulder. But if you're too caught up in your thinking, with that over dramatic energy thinking stuff, we miss it. If we're too stuck in our head, and I know I've done this several times, where I can force or be too stuck in my head, and then if I then come back into how is my body, it's like, oh gosh, I have a headache, I have a neck ache, I have stiff shoulders. Those are all signs, but sometimes we miss them because we get too caught up in that over analyzing and mental chit chat in our head. Okay, just about ready to send you off into this beautiful week ahead. Like I said, if you need any further support or ideas on these things that I've suggested to you, just message me or put it in the comments below. But just take a nice deep breath. We're going to close this session off with one of my Liberate Your Inner Truth cards. Liberate Your Inner Truth. And this is a beautiful one to go along with the intuitive journaling. The card that's come up for us is I am intuitive. You are intuitive. So many people think that intuition is something that you have to aspire to. It's there. We need to exercise that muscle more. And doing some of that intuitive journaling might just be the ingredient that you need. But let me read this out to you. I easily access my inner wisdom and regularly check in with my inner guidance for all decisions and choices, and listen to the guidance of your body. I wish you a superb week ahead, and I will be back again with you next week for the auspicious one, when we're going to talk about this new eclipse energy and full moon for next week. Much love to you. Thanks for watching. Have a fabulous week.